Welcome to all Caribbean entrepreneurs. If you've been ready and waiting to take your business digital and get paid online while you sip something strong on the beach, this podcast is for you. We'll hear from the Caribbean's finest entrepreneurs on topics like e-commerce, business development, brand building, social media, their wins and failures. This is the only place in the region helping you navigate the digital age from the Caribbean's perspective. This is Digipreneur FM. And now, let's give it up for the Digiboss himself, Mr. Karan Rose.
Thank you to everybody tuning in to another episode of the Digipreneur FM podcast. And as usual, it is your boy, your host, Mr. Rose. DJ, can you fade us out? Can you fade us all the way out? Because we got to talk to the people. It is December 23rd, 2023, and this is episode number 143. My goodness. We are at the end of the road, folks. 2023 is in the bag. It is in the bag. It has been an incredible year. It has been a year of growth, new levels, new challenges, adventures, new adventures. It has been a tremendous, tremendous year. And you know the saying, time flies when you're having fun. This was definitely my best year to date. And not just in terms of money, but it was just the best year for me, just from a personal level, all around. I think 2023, I really enjoyed everything that came with it. And I think the crazy part about it is that people spend so much time planning. They do the vision boards, they plan. And sometimes, honestly, you can't plan what's in store for you. It's really hard when you've been putting in work for so long and planting seeds. And you plan again for the next year as to what you want to accomplish, what you set out to do. And then you start receiving opportunities, you start getting calls, things start happening that you could have never have planned for. And so I've often felt like these last 3 years, since the pandemic, since the pandemic, I've felt like I've done so much, but nothing according to plan. And that's always the craziest thing to me, because I don't feel like I'm not working or I'm not, putting in the work to receive the things that I'm receiving. But when I look at my plans by the end of the year, I'm like, damn, I didn't accomplish anything. I accomplished so much, but nothing to what I set out to plan. And again, it's because you're planting these seeds, you're putting in the work, but honestly, you don't know what's going to be coming your way. Things you've done, seeds you've planted, months, maybe years ago, just bloom out of nowhere. And then it's like, oh, damn, you changed course because, again, your thinking might have been, low in comparison to what the opportunity is in front of you. And so that's how I've been feeling these past couple of years, where I've accomplished a lot, I've done a lot, and yet still, I still ain't doing a lot of the things that I've been planning to do. But, I'm rolling with it. I'm going with the flow. I know that for the most part, I have a North Star. I know the direction that I want to go. And I think that's become really important for me, is that I understand that the space that I'm in is very fluid. I understand that my brand generates a lot of things, intentionally and unintentionally. And I'm okay with changing plans. Like, I'm not sticking to the script. Like, I'm okay with just saying, okay, things that I've planned, it's not going to happen. I'm okay with that because I know that things are happening and I'm still working and opportunities are coming. And so I've gotten accustomed to being okay with that and just having a North Star, knowing the direction of where I want my brand to go. Still, there are daily things that I do daily, and in those daily things, seeds are planted, and every other day, every day, there's a new opportunity, a different call, something happens, and you're like, okay, these are things you could have never have planned, but they're here, and we're gonna do it because the opportunity is too good to pass up. So, anyways, 2024, I am extremely excited about, and one of the big things that I'm excited about is that 2023 allowed me the opportunity to travel almost every month and see different things, meet different people, do different things. And I was able to travel not just for, work. I was able to travel for vacation. So it was really a good mix of, it was more work travel, but even in the work travel, like, I still had time to just unwind and relax. So I was never, stressed this entire year. And then when I got to vacation just for vacationing sakes or travel just for travel sakes, I did that. And again, wasn't stressed. Wasn't stressed to, wasn't stressed about anything. I was just able to just go enjoy myself and be observant with what's happening, in different places that's happening within my space. And I think I've learned a lot just by getting out there and paying attention to, how are people marketing their businesses in different countries and different cultures? What does e-commerce look like? How does, payments look like in different spaces? And a lot of those things, I was able to just observe and just soak in, and helps me with my perspectives. But I'm gonna do another episode on that. I know for sure I have one more episode before, maybe one or two more episodes before this year officially closes. So I think I'll dive into that, like just traveling on the whole as a business investment for your business, for your perspective and stuff like that. I'm gonna have an episode specifically on that. But today, what I want to get into today is, before I get into that, the reason why I'm so excited for 2024 is because I feel like this has never been, I've never had a year where I'm planning travel. So this year, a lot of travel happened just because it happened and opportunities, and I got phone calls, and some of the travel outside of work was just on a whim. Hey, I feel like going here. Hey, I feel like going here, and I just book and go. But next year, like, I actually have things planned. Like, there are planned trips, and I want to do. There are two conferences that I am looking to go. Like, right now, I'm looking at the creative. What is it called? Oh my goodness, what is the full name? Let me tell. Yeah, there we go. I'm looking to go to the Content Entrepreneur Expo, and that is being put on by Joe Polizzi and his team, and Robert Rose. So those are some great guys in the content marketing space. I mean, Joe Polizzi is considered the godfather of content marketing, and there's so much happening inside of that conference. So you have, you got StreamYard there, HubSpot's there, Ahrefs is there, ConvertKit, Kajabi. These are some of the big name sponsors that are going to be there. Ann Handley's going to be there, who is the author of Everybody Writes. There's so many people that are going to be there. Youpreneur, that is my guy Chris Ducker. Listen, I'm going. Like, I woke up, I jumped on LinkedIn, and I had known it was coming out because I seen the ad for about like 2 months ago. Not even the ad. I seen when Joe Polizzi was talking about it about 2 months ago. And at that time, there was no information out. It was just, hey, it's coming. We're doing this. And it was separate from one of the other conferences that he does, which was called, I think it's called the content conference. Anyways, he's doing a different type of conference that's focused on the content entrepreneurs itself, because the last conference that he was doing, it kind of morphed into something that the actual entrepreneurs who are creating content could no longer fit into. So they decided that they're going to do two separate conferences for two different people, and I'm not missing this one. So I woke up, I seen this, and I've spent the last hour just researching everything to get to this conference, and then I'm looking to do Inbound next year. Inbound is from HubSpot, and those are going to be like my two big work conferences that I'm going to be going into. And then there's other trips that I've already booked, and there's other trips that I'm planning and just figuring out the logistics and whatnot. I want to do one Asia trip, so I'm looking at Thailand or Bali or Singapore. One of them gotta go. I'm gonna try my hand at one of them 30, 40-hour voyages next year. But again, I'm looking forward to that for 2024, and I think that now I realize that just being in Trinidad is limiting, and it's limiting in the sense of, because you don't have many good examples of what to do, you're benchmarking yourselves against other people in Trinidad as a business. And that could never be good, because there's nobody really doing anything extraordinary, right? Locally. We have a lot of amazing people who are traveling the world, and they're doing some amazing things on the world stage. But when you really look around in your industry, in Trinidad and Tobago, it's very limiting, right? And the more I've traveled this year, I've realized just how limiting it is, right? So 2024 is going to be that year where, hey, you're traveling, but you're not traveling to vacation. You're traveling with purpose. You're traveling to open your eyes. You're traveling to learn. You're traveling to see things. You're traveling to be able to gain all this experience and then implement it within your business. And even if there are other people that are not traveling, at least they have a better benchmark against, because they can see somebody else in the local arena doing X, Y, and Z and say, oh, wow, okay, they're doing that. I got to up my game, all right? So that's where my thinking is for 2024. Now, getting into today's episode, we're going to be talking about the 5 social media practices to leave behind in 2023. The 5 social media practices to leave behind in 2023. Perfect time to dive into this, because, as the year's wrapping up, and there's some things that we need to never see again or cut down on if you really want to grow in this digital space. So, pandemic was the pandemic was a time of sheer entertainment, 7-second or less content, trendy content. Listen, the pandemic gave way to, it gave fame to a lot of people. And we go on platforms like TikTok that's now influenced, Instagram and Facebook and whatnot. But TikTok has really given a big push to short form content, right? Kind of like what Vine did in the early 2000s. TikTok has kind of just been Vine on steroids. And now we have a lot of short form content. We have a lot of trendy content. We have a lot of shallow content. And I think one of the biggest problems is that because we've had so much shallow content being put out, businesses themselves feel like they just have to dance, shook, and jive on these digital platforms. And we've gotten away from any form of content of substance. Like, when you look around, I'm sorry to say this, but there's almost no good content in Trinidad and Tobago. There's almost no good content. There might be good comedy content from time to time, but there's no real good content that can help you change your life and achieve your goals. And that's a big problem, right? So in this ever-evolving landscape of social media, you got to stay abreast of all the emerging trends and practices. It's not just beneficial, but it is definitely essential. It's time to reflect on the strategies that we've been clinging to and reassess their relevance and effectiveness in the current digital age. The rapid progression of social media platforms has consistently transformed how we communicate, how we share information, and engage with content. And most importantly, what worked yesterday is not going to work tomorrow or yield the same results, underscoring the importance of being adaptable and forward-thinking. As one of my favorite authors says, Daniel Priestley says, your best thinking from 5 years ago is your baggage today. And I live by that. So as we continually navigate through an ocean of hashtags, viral trends, ever-changing algorithms, the need for well-rounded and thoughtfully crafted social media, not just social media, but digital strategies is becoming increasingly apparent. So we're going to be talking about the 5 social media practices or digital strategies that have outlived their utility as we are getting into 2024. All right? So the first strategy that you need to do away with for 2024 is the overuse of hashtags. My word, let me tell you. First of all, the social media platforms themselves all came out from Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, all came out and basically said that hashtags, to use them moving forward, 3 to 7 is a good number to have. We are still seeing people putting in 30 hashtags and 30 hashtags of the most irrelevant hashtags. Like, it's just hashtags that nobody's going to be looking for, right? And you're just slapping all of these things in, and for what, I have no idea. Maybe for shits and giggles. And I think it's because people don't know what hashtags are for. Because you're putting in 30 hashtags, you're just making up irrelevant hashtags. Like, I mean irrelevant. And I think it's happening still because people don't know what hashtags are for. So this is what a hashtag is for, right? Let me just recap this, what a hashtag is for. So for one, it's for content categorization and discovery. So hashtags act as labels for content, making it easier for users to find your post related to specific topics or themes. So when you click or search for a hashtag, you get a feed of posts that have used the same hashtag, effectively grouping related content together. It's also used for increased visibility and reach. And this is one of the things that that's what it was traditionally known for, but the social media platforms are saying they're cutting down on giving you reach via hashtags, right? So it was used for increased visibility and reach. So you would use relevant hashtags to increase the visibility of a post to users who are interested in that specific topic. This is particularly useful for reaching audiences beyond your current followers, as hashtags would expose your content to anyone interested in that hashtag, not just your follower base. But each of the platforms are saying that they're cutting down on giving reach and visibility based on the hashtags. And it's more for content categorization, right? I mean, realistically speaking, when last have you followed a hashtag and gone through all the content, right? Yeah. It's been a while for me. I don't think I've done that this year. Also, promoting engagement and participation. So hashtags are often used to encourage user participation in conversations, campaigns, or events. They can be used to track discussions, engage in community conversations, or participate in trending topics. Brands would often create unique hashtags for marketing campaigns to track engagement, spread awareness, and foster a sense of community as well. And then last but not least, you would use hashtags for trend tracking. So hashtags would help identify trending topics. The most popular hashtags are often related to current events, popular culture, or widespread movements. So that's what a hashtag was used for, right? So when you are now throwing in 30 hashtags with no real strategy, there's no purpose to it. And what you're doing at that point is you're cluttering the post and reducing its clarity, making it appear less sincere, and most importantly, making it look like it's spam. So the overuse often leads to decreased user engagement as audiences can be overwhelmed or confused by a barrage of irrelevant hashtags. So hashtags have evolved from being that tool of discovery to one that requires very strategic use. So the current best practices, again, you want to use 3 to 7 relevant hashtags and very specific hashtags to the content and to your brand, and this ensures that your content remains focused and reaches the intended audience effectively. All right? That being said, number 2, the second digital and social media strategy that you need to stop doing in 2024 is ignoring user engagement. So in this digital age where, social media serves as the primary way that we communicate between brands and their audience, you cannot neglect user engagement. And neglecting user engagement can be a grave misstep. Engaging with audience comments and messages it's not about just being courteous. It's a powerful tool to build relationships and trust. So when users receive responses to their interactions, it fosters that sense of community and connection, which is invaluable in the digital space. Remember, the brands that succeed the most are the ones who can leverage social media and turn it and build a community. People want to belong to communities, and if your brand can do that, you're going to have loyal clients, you're going to have loyal followers, you're going to have advocates of your brand. And one of the big ways to do that is by not just posting and ghosting, but being engaging on your social media platform. So interaction on social media posts plays a significant role in how content is favored by the algorithms as well. So platforms like Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter use engagement metrics like likes, comments, and shares as indicators of content quality and relevance. So boosting the visibility of posts with higher engagement. So again, you want to create regular action with your users because that can significantly enhance brand loyalty. When your brand consistently engages with its audience, it demonstrates attentiveness and a commitment to customer satisfaction, which can then lead to higher retention rates as your customers feel valued and heard. So make sure that you are prioritizing engaging with the people who are commenting, who are liking your content. Make sure you are engaging with them in the comment section on social media because that's going to help boost the content. That's going to show the social media platforms that this content is relevant and not boosted out, but they're going to show it to more of your audience, more of your followers, and also non-followers. All right? And then it gives the people who follow your brand that sense of community when they see that you are attentive and going back and forth in the comment section. Number 3. The third strategy that we need to do away with for 2024 is only creating short-form content. Relying solely on short-form content, such as brief videos or quick posts, limits the depth and nuance of the information shared. And y'all want to know why there's so much misinformation? It's because of this. So while these pieces are excellent for capturing attention and engaging audiences quickly, they often lack the space to explore complex topics thoroughly, which can lead to oversimplification and unintentional misinformation. So you need to provide a more comprehensive understanding, integrating long-form content into your social media strategy or your digital strategy. That's going to be critical moving forward. So articles, detailed videos, in-depth posts allow for fuller exploration of subjects, offering context and clarity that short-form content simply cannot do. This type of content not only educates the audience, but it also establishes the brand's authority and expertise in the matter. Short-form content can serve as a gateway to more substantial long-form content. By using shorter pieces as teasers or introductions, you can pique people's interests and then direct them to detailed content for a deeper dive. Having this approach ensures that you have a balance between engaging briefly and providing depth. And this is going to be one of the biggest strategies that every brand needs to start to integrate for 2024, right? Even with this podcast, for example, I wrote this out I did this as an article for Newsday and Jamaica Observer. I also did a video on social media. It was a 5-minute video just to kind of recap the points and provide like a one-liner to the points, right? And now we're doing a podcast, and the podcast is typically an hour in length, where I can dive in deeper on the topics because you don't have that flexibility when you have a word limit when you're writing for the papers. And then your social media platforms, they're perfect for short form content. But where do people go when they want to get that in-depth content? Usually they would come to your website for your blogs. Your blogs can be amazing spaces for long form content. Then you have your podcast, then you have your YouTube channel. These are platforms that people enjoy long form content, and typically when they go to these platforms, they're expecting depth, they're expecting context, they're expecting more information, right? So when we've had all of the businesses creating all of this short form content, it's crazy because how are people going to learn about the problems that your business is solving when you're only doing these little tidbits of content? And the majority of the businesses are not even creating like tips or short pieces of useful content. They're too busy just advertising their products and services and trying to do as much trendy videos as possible to even consider that they should be utilizing their spaces as more of a resource. That way you have more people tuning in and locking into your content, but you guys are trying to just be funny and capitalize on trends. And that's cute, but it doesn't convert. People visit your business and they buy your products and they buy into your services to solve a problem or help them achieve a desire. If all you're doing is providing these trendy pieces of content, then how are you ever planning to build that loyalty? How are you ever planning to position yourself as a leader in your space? How do people get to become educated about the problems that your business intends to solve through your products and services? All right? That's a switch that has to happen. And 2023, Instagram and TikTok both came out flat out and said, hey, we're looking at our data, and our data is suggesting that people are watching longer and longer videos on our platforms, which is why Instagram increased their video limits to 10 minutes, and TikTok has increased their video limits up to 30 minutes, right? Because, again, they are seeing that people you longer and longer videos on the platforms. YouTube was always built for long-form videos, right? You have you got 3-hour videos on YouTube, right? You got people on Facebook and YouTube watching 10-hour streams. I believe Kai Sennett. Well, let me pull this stat up because this is pretty interesting. Like I needed to pull this up, right? Because I just need you to understand that people are watching long form content. So Kai Sennett, who is a Twitch streamer, he's broken the record for the most viewed live stream, right? And I'm going to read out these stats for you. So first things first, he did a 7-day marathon prison live stream where he was locked up in a jail setting and he streamed from inside the prison walls, and he had famous names and other content creators pass through the stream, all right? It was a 7-day marathon. Let's start with that, okay? He accumulated over 1 million views on YouTube within 5 days. Right now, he has, for that same stream on Twitch, that same jail stream, right? So he has over 1 million views on YouTube. On Twitch, he has had over 2 2,486,000 hours watched. Right? That's the watch time right now. Over 2,486,000 watch hours so far. At the peak of this Twitch stream, he had on 230,758 people. That was the peak amount of people on the stream. And on average, he had 104,000 people watching live. You understand how crazy that is? You understand how crazy that is? And he was streaming for 24 hours. He had a solid 24-hour straight stream, and 104,000 people were tuned in. That is insane. So when you are thinking about, no, they have short attention spans, they don't watch long form content. Everybody is proving you wrong. From the streamers are proving you wrong. A man could do a 7-day Twitch stream and people have locked in. Hundreds of thousands of people watched and then watching the replays, right? And then Instagram, TikTok pushing their viewer limits to 10 minutes and 30 minutes respectively. So you need to stop creating only short form content because the data is proving and showing that the people are watching longer form content. Now, I'm not telling you don't do short form. I'm telling you that you have to strike that balance. You have to strike the balance of having short form content and long form content, right? If you're only doing short form content, you're providing a lot of, you're never going to be able to provide context or depth on your topic. All right? So that was number 3. Number 4, the fourth digital and social media strategy that we need to do away with in 2024 is relying on trending audio for growth. Oh my God. Oh my goodness. I have to laugh at this one. Because you have a lot of businesses that are you're not just creating short form content, but all of your content is just relying on trending audio. What is the point? What is the point? That's all you're doing. So the use of trending audio tracks and social media content has become ubiquitous on platforms like TikTok and Instagram Reels. However, an over-reliance on these trending sounds can backfire. So while they might initially attract viewers, they often don't contribute to the depth or originality of the content. This trend-focused approach can lead to a lack of distinctiveness in a brand's social media presence, making it blend with countless others. So content that strikes a balance between, and this is where your content needs to be. It needs to strike that balance between educating, inspiring, and entertaining, especially if you're in business, right? That's what's going to resonate deeply with your audience. So instead of just hopping on the latest audio trend, your business should be focusing on delivering value. This could be through informative tutorials, inspiring stories, original entertainment that aligns with your brand's identity and values. You should also prioritize creating substantive content that aligns with your brand's message and audience's interests. So instead of just solely chasing viral trends, develop the content that provides real value that people can build a more engaged and loyal audience. This approach not only differentiates the brand, but also fosters a more authentic connection with its audience, which is going to be more crucial than ever going into 2024. So you don't just want to be jumping on the trends, because half the trends require the sound, they require the same action or the same movement or the same green screen. And then it's like, it's the same thing over and over. And then again, for you, it's not even just businesses doing it. You're blending yourself in with just regular people who are using social media for fun. And then you just get to the point where it's like, you can't even tell the difference anymore. And it's the same thing being burned out. Like, how many times are you going to be using the same trending sounds? And then that's the only content you're doing. Every piece of content coming out is a trending sound video from a business. There's no value in that. You're going to get, it shits and giggles, sure. Ha ha ha, cheap laughs. All right? Cheap laughs. And then you'll have the people, and then what kills me, you'll have the people in social media saying, well, this is how you have to grow on TikTok. No, it's not. No, it's not. You have businesses that go viral for great business content. The problem is that content requires expertise. And a lot of the people that work in social media or digital strategy simply don't have the required expertise to really build a business on social media. You might be good at putting the content together. Like you might be good at shooting the videos. You might be good at editing the videos. But you don't have the required skill set or knowledge to take knowledge from the industry and then creatively execute that information and put it into a package that's appealing for people. And that's where a lot of these businesses are struggling. You're just hiring social media people who know how to edit good videos and post. And they think that, oh, well, trending sounds and trends is the way to grow because that's what all the content creators are doing in order to grow on social media. That's them. You as the business, all you need to do is provide value for your audience, and they are going to follow. They're going to learn from you. They're going to follow you. They're going to bookmark the content. They're going to share the content because it's of value. And people could always go back to that content to learn more. On top of which, when you create content, when you create trendy content, like that's all you do, there's no repurpose value in it. You cannot repurpose or reshare that piece of content at a later date. And so when you have content, that's all you have. Your whole entire database is just trendy content. Understand that none of that could ever be reshared or repurposed. Like that's just it. It's done. But when you constantly have, you're adding new content to your database of content of value, evergreen content, that content can be reshared at later dates. I have content that is still relevant from 2, 3, 4 years ago that I could reshare right now, and it still hits because it's still relevant. And so for the weeks or the days that I don't feel to post, or maybe I'm too busy, I could always go back into my database and grab something and reshare just to show up. And that's one of the key secrets to showing up every single day. Nobody said you had to show up every single day with brand new content. No, the best don't. The best know that their content is evergreen and their content is of value, and they could always go back in 3 months and later and grab something and repost. So you don't have to create fresh content every single day. That's one of the fastest ways to burn out, creating content every single day. I show up every single day. No, half of it's not brand new created stuff. It can be stuff that I did a while ago. But again, you might be seeing it for the first time, one, because social media is not going to share your content to any and everybody the first time you post it. People miss content. And then two, there's new people that are following you that might have that problem now. They never had that problem months ago or a year ago. But now they have the problem now, and you reshare that content, and then it hits home for them now. Which is why you have to keep on resharing your content every couple of months. They say, once an evergreen content hits that 3 to 4 month mark, you should reshare it. So, if all you're doing is creating trendy content, you never get the opportunity to repost and reshare content. All right? Now, that brings us to our 5th strategy that you need to do away with for 2023. And that is the relying on video content 100%. You guys need to understand that video gets pushed, like in terms of conversations and people telling you video, because it works on social media. Social media is just one part of the digital galaxy. Social media is just one part. And then each social media platform operates in silos. So video works great on social media, but that's not just where people are. They're in many other places in the digital galaxy. And you're only speaking to one audience in one format. All right? So with everybody telling you video, this is also limiting you. Because while videos are highly engaging and they're effective in capturing attention, they do not cater to all audience preferences. And also, most importantly, they do not cater to everyone's learning styles. So not every user prefers video. And some topics are better suited to other formats like article or even a podcast. So you need to be able to diversify your content types for reaching a broader audience. So you need to have a mix of audio content because people learn via audio. So just like this podcast, the people that are listening to the podcast might not necessarily be the people that are watching my videos or reading my articles. Then you also have to have the visuals. So your visuals are your infographics, your photos, your videos, right? Your short form videos, right? And then you also have to have your written content. Your written content can be your blog posts. And this allows for a more inclusive approach that appeals to a broader audience. This variety caters to different preferences and learning styles, but also enriches your overall content strategy. And it's because this balanced content strategy embraces various formats. That is how it's going to give you the widest reach and engage the most amounts of people possible. You also have to keep in mind that each piece of content has its place in the interwebs. So when you think about blogs, when you do a Google search or you do a search on search engines, right? 90% of that results page is links to articles. When you say, hey Siri, when you say, hey Google, when you say, hey Alexa, the voice search assistants are pulling the information from websites. Typically, your blog content, right? Then you have your pictures. People can do reverse searches on images to find out about products, to get to a website. So images are going to be huge. You have podcasts. Apple Podcasts is a massive universe, right? Spotify, Google Podcasts, YouTube Podcasts. These are parts of the search engines. And Apple Podcast has an amazing recommendation engine, right? Which is why it's become the biggest podcast platform in the world. Your video content, you could post your video content on social media, YouTube Shorts, YouTube, you name it, right? So all of these pieces of content, they show up differently online. And they appeal to different users. They appeal to different habits. You have people that are going to go to Google first, do a search, read your article, or find your YouTube video via Google search and watch your YouTube video. You have people that don't listen to the radio and all they listen to is podcasts. So when they're working out, when they're doing laundry, when they're cooking, when they're on a long drive, going to work or at work, they pop in their headphones and listen to a podcast. And you have the people who are on social media watching the videos, or they're on YouTube doing a search, your video pops up. So all the different content shows up in a variety of ways online. And if all you're doing is creating video, you're only able to show up in very limited spaces. Now, if you have a massive social media following, then that might not be so bad because at least you've built a following, you're building a community, and you're getting that flow from that channel. No problem. But this is especially important for people who might not have a big following. Being able to show up in different spaces, you're going to be able to tap into different audiences to drive traffic to your business. And I recommend that even if you have a big following on social media is still a platform that you don't own. So you want to be able to bring people to the spaces that you own, that you control. All right? That is how you're going to ultimately build a robust digital presence that's not just reliant on social media. I went to Colombia in November and I did the Pablo Escobar tour. I took a picture of me by a Pablo Escobar mural, right, in one of the comunas that he built, posted it, and unbeknownst to me, that violated community rules on Facebook and Instagram and TikTok, and they're basically like, "Yep, you violated community rules. You are promoting an extreme terrorist." Or you're either they said as an extreme terrorist or somebody who promotes extreme violence, and they banned my account until February for a bunch of features. So like on Instagram and Facebook, I can't go live. They also banned my content from being displayed to people who are not followers. Nobody can tag me for brand collaborations. I can't go live on TikTok. Like, it's all this craziness. I'm like, yo, all of this from one friggin' post, and I didn't even know that this rule exists. But now I'm being banned for months. Yeah. Now the only reason, if the only platform I was using was Instagram, I'd have balled. But because I have so many other things happening, it's like, oh wow, okay, well I know for next time. And I mean, it sucks because it's all the way till February, but you know what? It is what it is. I still have all these other things that I'm doing. So it's not like, it's not detrimental. So again, and I'm glad that happened. I'm glad it happened because it just reminded me, don't ever get comfortable on social media. Don't ever get comfortable on social media because you could do anything and have no idea, and boom, account suspended or account closed, or you know what I mean? Like, it's wild. So again, it was just a good reminder to me to not rely on social media wholly and solely. Use it, leverage it, bring people back to your platforms that you own, and consistently do that. Because at any point in time, anything can happen, and that's it on social media. All right. So don't just rely on your video content. Make sure that you are creating a diverse amount of content because that's going to appeal to different learning styles. Right. And just to recap, your top 5 strategies to do away with, right? So we're recapping the 5 strategies to do away with when it comes to social media and your digital strategy for 2024. Number 1, the overuse of hashtags and the irrelevant use of it. Remember, keep it from 3 to 7. Then number 2, ignoring user engagement. Do not post and ghost. If you're posting and people are commenting, dive in the comments and engage with them. Build that community. Number 3 is only creating short-form content. Remember, if you're only creating short-form content, then you're going to be oversimplifying a lot of key topics, or misinformation is going to happen unintentionally because you're not providing no depth or context. So you want to have a mix of short-form and long-form content. Number 4 is relying on trending audio. If you're a business or a brand and all you're doing is doing trendy audio content, you're never going to be providing value to your clientele on the social media platforms. And number 5 is relying 100% on video content. Remember, people learn written, audio, visual. If you're only creating video content, you're showing up in a very limited amount of spaces online, and you're also not appealing to the other people that learn and consume content in a different ways. 2024, you need to have a diverse content strategy to build a robust digital presence. Whew. So, I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. If you did, please rate the podcast. If you're using Apple Podcasts, Spotify, any one of them, rate the podcast. And if you really enjoyed the podcast, folks, I see you guys listening, right? I see the listeners coming in. Please drop a review of the podcast. That's what I want for Christmas. If you guys enjoy the podcast, drop a review of the podcast for me. I read the reviews. The reviews help to continue to grow the Digipreneur family all around the world. If you want to learn more about building your digital presence, you can go and check out KarenRose.com, link to that website in the show notes. And you can stay up to date with the podcast by checking out the Digipreneur FM website as well. Go and follow me over on social media platforms at Karan Rose. I'm most active on LinkedIn, Instagram, and also on TikTok as well. Go follow me over there. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. All right? So that is it from me, folks. Season's greetings. Merry Christmas. Enjoy the holidays. You will definitely be hearing from me very soon. I got some content. I got some time. I got some content to drop before this new year is starting. All right? So I'll see you guys in the next one, and take care.
You've been listening to the Digiboss, Karan Rose. We hope your notepad was filled after this episode. Make sure to like, rate, and review the show. The learning doesn't stop, folks. And to make sure you don't miss any gems from the Digiboss, go over and follow him on all social media platforms at Karan Rose. Folks, don't just sit there with a notepad. We need you to implement at least one thing into your business before the next episode. That's the only way your business levels up. Thanks for listening to Digipreneur FM. Now go be great.